888-971-SAGE, 888-971-7243. I am Larry Elder. We are ReliefFactor.com studio. Lee Ohanian, as you know, is professor of economics at UCLA, and we've invited him back on the program to discuss what Chairman Powell just now said about inflation, ideally being at 2%. Lee, thank you very much for coming back on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Larry. Happy to contribute.
Lee, are you a baseball fan?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay, I got a trivia question for you. Who is Johnny Vandermeer?
Johnny Vandermeer, Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
I'm thinking, was he a pitcher?
Yes.
Okay, Johnny. Okay, I did better than I thought I was going to do.
The only major league pitcher, Lee, to pitch back-to-back no-hitters.
Okay.
You are the Johnny Vandermeer of the Larry Elder Show. Back-to-back appearances. I don't think I've ever had a guest that had back-to-back appearances.
Oh my goodness! Well, I am honored and flattered, Larry.
There you go. Also, are you aware that your last name is the same last name as the husband of Serena Williams, Ohanian?
Yes, he may, maybe a distant relative of mine.
Right.
I don't know, but absolutely, Alexis Ohanian.
And the reason I mentioned it, Lee, because he's been on television this morning talking about the benefits of family and medical leave, the imposition of family and medical leave on businesses, and how much money people could make if they just had these policies. And business people will realize that once they are imposing these policies, they're going to make more money, and they'll realize that they've been stupid not to impose these policies. And Lee, nothing drives me crazier than the minimum wage argument that, well, it's going to benefit employers. It's going to benefit employers. They're too stupid to realize they should raise the minimum wage until you tell them to do it. And this guy Ohanian is telling people that family and medical leave is going to benefit them. You may not see it right now, but sooner or later you'll realize it.
Isn't okay? Well, I'm going to take back that part about him being in my bloodline.
All right, this 2% inflation. Lee, I took Economics 101. I had one course. I told you that. Only one course. I've done all my other economic reading on my own. But one course, I learned that anything above 0% inflation is bad. This guy says we should have it at 2%. So am I wrong or is he wrong?
Well, Powell's statement was, is very, very troublesome, and it's particularly troublesome for where we look down the road. So, Larry, you're right, zero inflation, and zero inflation is what we mean by price stability. And first of all, there's a conflict in his statement. He talks about 2% inflation, and then in the next sentence he talks about price stability. Well, 2% inflation is not stable prices, so it's either inflation or price stability. It's one or the other. You just mathematically you can't have both. So that makes no sense. But economically, inflation is damaging, and it seems now in Washington all standard, well-tested, well-established economic truths are being just tossed out the window. One of which is that the higher the inflation rate, the lower the long-term economic growth rate. Powell is talking about we want to have a healthy economy. We need to have a healthy economy by having inflation be higher. And that just goes against the tide of standard economic thinking and the empirical record we have both in this country and many other countries.
My guest is UCLA economics professor Lee Ohanian. Lee, what did you think last night when you saw all the $4 trillion programs that Joe Biden is having America, quote, invest in, close quote?
You know, it's almost like a clown at the circus throwing out candy to kids. I mean, we're in a situation now where just spend more and spend more, spend more, tax more, borrow more. Don't worry about tomorrow. It's shocking. I think people really should be very, very concerned about this. They should be letting their elected representatives know how concerned they are. In Biden's first 100 days, he has either had approved or proposed new spending of about $47,000 per household. $47,000 per household. The infrastructure bill, which is about $2 trillion, is really somewhat misleading. Out of that $2 trillion, about $100 billion would be for the roads and bridges that we all use every day. Almost as much would be devoted to Amtrak. Amtrak, that remarkably, wonderfully run government monopoly that already is getting net subsidies of 26 cents per mile. And taking all those well-paid Wall Street lawyers and Wall Street investors from Connecticut to New York, who could certainly pay the full cost of that, it is anything really but an infrastructure bill. So this is just very, very concerning. We've never seen anything like this. And if we go back to Powell's statement about returning to full employment, well, we have had the most remarkable economic growth the last few quarters. It's natural to expect that within a well-functioning economy like the United States. Unemployment is down to 6%. By the summer, it will be closing in on 5% if we don't do anything stupid in Washington. There's no need for government to be trying to fine-tune and manage it. There's the private sectors where jobs are created, where innovations are made, where incomes are grown. That's where the meat is. We certainly don't need the Federal Reserve, or we certainly don't need Washington, D.C. spending more money. That will actually have the opposite effect of what they're advertising to taxpayers.
Lee, 45 seconds left. Biden did something slick last night. He said, we're going to do all of this, quote, without increasing the deficit. He didn't say without increasing the debt. The two are very different.
Well, yes. The debt is the entire accumulated history of deficits plus interest. Mm-hmm. And we are going to certainly be increasing the debt and to an alarming rate, to a rate at which we haven't seen since World War II, since we had the biggest national emergency in the United States in many, many years. And, we don't have a national emergency right now. And the last thing I'll just leave with is that all these improvements to roads and bridges and Amtrak, why weren't those made in all the decades previously? We're not supposed to be spending additional taxpayer money when we've already taxed people to take care of these capital expenditure and maintenance issues.
It's never enough. Professor, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Absolutely, Larry.
Johnny Vandermeer. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.